In today's story, I will tell you how Barack Obama, he arrived at the White House from Hawaii and was elected as a worthy president of America. Imagine a child born on a distant island in the Pacific, far from the power and glitter of Washington, D.C. A child with no political dynasty, no great wealth, no easy pathway to success. Yet one day, that same child would walk into the White House as the most powerful man in the world. This is the story of Barack Hussein Obama II, a story of hope, resilience, and the unshakable belief that yes, we can. August 4th, 1961, Honolulu, Hawaii. Barack Obama was born to a Kenyan father, Barack Obama Sr., and an American mother, Ann Dunham, from Kansas. His parents' love story was unconventional, but it didn't last. His father left when Barack was still a little boy. He grew up mostly without him, carrying only fragments of his presence. His childhood was filled with questions about identity, about belonging. Who was he? Where did he fit? Half black, half white, raised in Hawaii and later in Indonesia, he lived in two worlds and belonged fully to none. Yet that very struggle to understand himself would one day forge a leader who could speak to millions. Back in Hawaii, Barack attended Punahou School, one of the best schools in the state. Bright, curious, but restless, he often felt like an outsider. In his teenage years, he wrestled with confusion, identity, and sometimes rebellion. But even then, something set him apart. He carried within him a sense that life was calling him to something greater. He went on to Occidental College in California and later to Columbia University in New York. It was in New York, amidst the cold streets and crowded buildings, that Barack realized nothing would be handed to him. If he wanted a place in this world, he would have to fight for it. But he also discovered something else, his purpose. His dream was not just personal success, it was about lifting up others. So he moved to Chicago. There, he became a community organizer. The work was tough, the pay was little, but the lessons were priceless. He worked with families struggling with unemployment, poor housing, and broken schools. It was here that Barack learned something vital. Real change doesn't happen from the top down. It begins with people. But to make that change last, politics was necessary. That realization took him to Harvard Law School, and there, history was made. Barack Obama became the first black president of the Harvard Law Review. Overnight, his name spread across the nation. To many, he was no longer just another law student. He was a rising star. Returning to Chicago, he worked as a professor and lawyer, still rooted in service. But his calling to leadership could not be ignored. In 1996, he was elected to the Illinois State Senate. Humble, honest, and connected to the people, Obama's influence grew. And then came the moment that changed everything. The 2004 Democratic National Convention. Barack Obama delivered a keynote speech that electrified the nation. His words carried hope, his tone carried conviction, and his vision carried the promise of unity. In just a few minutes, the world saw not just a politician, but a leader destined for something greater. In 2007, Barack Obama announced his run for President of the United States. The odds? Almost impossible. He was young, relatively unknown, and standing against powerful figures like Hillary Clinton. But Obama had something others didn't, a message that resonated. Yes, we can. Young people, minorities, everyday citizens, millions who had felt unseen, suddenly felt heard. His campaign used the internet and social media in ways no one had before. He wasn't just running a campaign, he was building a movement. And in November 2008, history was made. Barack Obama was elected as the 44th President of the United States, the first African-American president in history. The world erupted in celebration, from the shores of Hawaii to the streets of Kenya to the cities of America. Millions cried tears of joy. The impossible had become reality. But the presidency was no fairy tale. Obama entered office during the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression. America's economy was crumbling, jobs were disappearing, and families were losing their homes. Step by step, policy by policy, he fought to rebuild. He introduced healthcare reform, known as Obamacare, to give millions of uninsured Americans a chance at medical care. He ordered the mission that led to the killing of Osama bin Laden. He received the Nobel Peace Prize in 2009. Yet criticism and challenges followed him everywhere: political division, racial prejudice, endless battles in Congress. Still, Obama never wavered from his core message: hope. In 2012, the people chose him again. Re-elected for a second term, he pushed forward, supporting LGBTQ+ rights, fighting climate change, and even beginning to normalize relations with Cuba. He was not a perfect president. No one ever is. But his leadership inspired millions around the world. Barack Obama's story is not just about politics. It is about possibility. It tells us that where you are born does not define where you can go, that your skin color, your family background, or your circumstances cannot limit the size of your dreams. From Hawaii's beaches to the White House halls, Obama proved to the world that courage and conviction can carry anyone to the highest heights. His journey leaves us with a timeless lesson. Leaders are not born in privilege. They are born in struggle, in doubt, in hope. And as his voice still echoes across generations, we remember the words that move the world. Yes, we can. And those three words are not just America's, they belong to all of humanity. Subscribe to my channel to get any mysterious story or historical story from the world regularly, and stay by my side by hitting the bell icon.